Sellers beware. As we adapt to this new market reality, the Niagara region is primarily in a buyer's market, and listings continue to come to market in record numbers. Bidding wars, they're not obsolete, but they are rare. I just negotiated 3 offers on one of my properties. Once it was reduced in price to a price point where the buyer saw value in it. Now, sellers are slowly adapting to this new reality, and as they do, they are pricing their homes more attractively to gain the interest of buyers, and they're getting their homes sold. So sellers beware though. Cash buyer letters and ads. If you are a seller and you have been considering responding to one of these letters or ads that you received, I have to caution you. So listen to this. The ads and the letters may read, "We buy homes for cash." The promise is a quick cash offer, eliminating any potential buyers coming through the house, open houses, agents, brokerage fees, and the length needed to sell is quick and it's looking attractive. However, this experience can prove to be less than ideal. I personally worked with a buyer a few years ago who actually responded to one of these letters, and we fortunately didn't write an offer until they were closed. They wanted to go in on offers with a cash offer because they thought they had their home sold, when in fact they didn't. I'm going to give you 2 other examples where this happened. A seller called saying that they sold their home and they wanted to buy another home, and at the meeting we discovered that they had sold their house this way for cash. Just before closing, the buyer actually called to ask for an extension on the closing date. They just needed more time to secure their financing. It was a cash offer. Well, so much for the cash offers. He said that he didn't really have the cash. Or fortunately, the lawyer suspected this and recommended that they not extend that contract. Now they have their house. They went ahead and listed their house, and they actually ended up selling it for $89,000 more than they had negotiated with that cash buyer. There's a second scenario. Again, the seller has sold their home privately to one of these cash buyers, and again, the buyer wanted an extension and the seller granted it. He asked for a further extension, and the seller then contacted his lawyer, and the lawyer advised that they get a $40,000 non-refundable deposit to be placed in the lawyer's trust account. The buyer agreed, and again, it did not close. And in this case, the buyer actually lost their $40,000 and the seller got to keep it. Once again, the property was then listed for sale and it's sold in the open market in a reasonable amount of time. Luckily, in both of these instances, the sellers were shrewd enough to obtain some sort of advice from a lawyer or real estate agent. But the question remains, were they really cash buyers? Very often what's happening in the background with these types of private deals is the buyer is actually trying to pay bottom barrel price, and then they're looking to assign this deal to another buyer and turn the profit on the in-between pricing. You know, this is done by what's called an assignment clause. What's more is the contract price is actually lower than the market price so that they can turn a profit, and the savings goes to this cash buyer. You know, the seller thinks it's a good deal because they're avoiding commissions and brokerage fees and buyers coming through their house. These buyers are unsuccessful sometimes in actually assigning it before closing. Then they have to go struggle to get financing and the deals are not closing. So the question is this legal? Assignment sales are legal in Ontario. However, the initial buyer should not be exempt